Everyone has goals, but not everyone reaches them. Why? Because only one thing stands between dreams and reality, and that's discipline. Everyone has goals. Some want to be wealthy, some want to be fit, some want to be free from debt, others want stronger relationships or deeper knowledge. But if you look closely, you'll find that goals by themselves don't hold much power. A goal is simply an idea, a picture in your mind of what life could look like. It feels exciting to set goals because it stirs your imagination, but without discipline, that goal remains nothing more than a wish. Think of it this way: a farmer can dream of a rich harvest, he can even buy the best seeds, but unless he commits to planting them, watering them, and protecting them, the harvest will never come. The seeds are like your goals, potential locked inside. Discipline is the act of planting, watering, and tending every day, even when it's inconvenient, even when you don't feel like it. Most people confuse desire with discipline. They say, I want to be rich, I want to be healthy, I want to be successful, and desire is good, it's the spark. But discipline is the firewood that keeps the spark alive long enough to create change. Without discipline, desire fades, the gym membership goes unused, the budget is broken in a week, the business idea remains in a notebook. Desire may set the direction, but only discipline carries you across the bridge. Discipline is doing what needs to be done even when the mood has left you. Anybody can act when they feel motivated. The true test is whether you can act when you're tired, when you're bored, when you're discouraged. That's the difference between those who accomplish their goals and those who don't. And here's the irony: goals without discipline often become a source of pain. Why? Because every time you set a goal and fail to follow through, you weaken your confidence. You tell yourself you can't be trusted. You begin to lower your expectations just to avoid disappointment. But when discipline enters the picture, the opposite happens. Every small action taken strengthens your confidence. You begin to believe in yourself again. You start to see progress, and progress fuels more discipline. So remember this: a goal written on paper may inspire you, but it's discipline that transforms it into reality. Without discipline, your goals are just daydreams. With discipline, they become your destiny. Discipline doesn't always look exciting. In fact, most of the time it feels small, ordinary, even invisible. Waking up a little earlier to read, setting aside a portion of your income, exercising for 30 minutes, making those extra calls, writing a page each day, these actions rarely feel like breakthroughs. But this is the secret. Daily disciplines compound into momentum, and momentum is the unseen force that carries you further than motivation ever could. At first, it feels like nothing is happening. You save a little, but your bank account doesn't look much different. You exercise, but the mirror shows no change. You practice your skill, but progress feels slow. This is where most people quit. They mistake the silence of early effort for failure, but in truth, something powerful is happening beneath the surface. Like water dripping on stone, like roots spreading underground, daily disciplines are quietly shaping your future. Momentum doesn't shout, it whispers. It shows up when suddenly the habit becomes natural, when the results begin to multiply, when you find yourself doing what once felt impossible. The person who reads for 10 minutes daily may not notice the change in a week, but in a year they've read several books. That knowledge shapes decisions, and those decisions shape destiny. The person who saves a small amount consistently may not feel wealthy today, but in time they've built financial security that others envy. Discipline is the builder, momentum is the reward. Once momentum takes hold, you no longer need to push as hard. The habits begin to carry you forward. Just like a train leaving the station, the hardest part is the first few moments when the wheels struggle to move, but once it gains speed, stopping it becomes nearly impossible. This is why discipline matters most in the beginning. You are laying tracks, building foundations, creating a pattern that will soon gather its own strength. And once that invisible momentum arrives, life feels lighter, progress feels faster, and success feels inevitable. The tragedy is that many give up right before momentum begins. They quit after a few weeks because they don't see the harvest. But remember, the harvest always comes later. First comes planting, then watering, then waiting. Daily discipline is the planting, momentum is the harvest, so don't underestimate small, consistent effort. It may look invisible today, but tomorrow it becomes unstoppable. Most people resist discipline because they see it as a cage. They imagine discipline as strict rules, endless routines, and the loss of pleasure. To them, discipline feels like saying no to life. But here's the truth: discipline isn't restriction, it's the pathway to freedom. The absence of discipline may feel like freedom in the moment, but over time it becomes a prison. Discipline, on the other hand, creates choices, possibilities, and a life of control rather than chaos. Think about money. Without financial discipline, you can spend as you please. That feels free for a little while, but soon debt piles up, stress grows, and suddenly your choices are limited. You can't travel, you can't invest, you can't breathe easily because your lack of discipline has chained you. Contrast that with the person who lives with financial discipline. They may say no to impulsive spending today, but tomorrow they enjoy the freedom of options. They can take opportunities, invest, or simply rest without worry. That's real freedom. The same is true in health. Without discipline, you eat whatever you want, skip exercise, stay up late. It feels fun in the short term. But soon your energy drops, your body suffers, and your options shrink. On the other hand, someone with health discipline, exercising regularly, eating mindfully, resting properly, enjoys vitality, strength, and longevity. They can climb mountains, play with their kids, pursue their goals. Their discipline gave them freedom. Discipline also frees the mind. A disciplined schedule reduces stress because you're not constantly scrambling or guessing. A disciplined routine builds confidence because you know you're doing the right things daily. Instead of being pulled in every direction by distraction or impulse, you live with clarity and order. That's not restriction, it's empowerment. Ironically, people who chase freedom without discipline end up trapped, while those who practice discipline first end up freer than anyone else. The student who disciplines himself to study gains the freedom of a career. The artist who disciplines herself to practice gains the freedom to create at will. The entrepreneur who disciplines his habits gains the freedom of financial independence. Discipline doesn't take life away from you, it gives it back multiplied. It's not about punishment, it's about preparation. It's not about denial, it's about design. Discipline says, I will pay the price today so I can enjoy the reward tomorrow, and that reward is the truest form of freedom. Every worthwhile goal requires a price. Success is never free. It always demands effort, sacrifice, and discomfort. This is why so many people fall short. They try to avoid pain. They look for shortcuts, hacks, and easy ways out. But here's the paradox. When you avoid the small pains of discipline, you inherit the greater pains of regret. Discipline doesn't eliminate pain, it transforms it. It takes the short-term discomfort of effort and turns it into the long-term reward of accomplishment. Consider physical fitness. The discipline of exercise requires effort. Muscles ache, sweat flows, and it's rarely comfortable. That's the pain of discipline, but over time, that very pain becomes strength. The body grows fitter, energy increases, health improves. What was once struggle becomes stamina, pain turned into progress. On the other hand, avoiding the discipline of exercise may feel easy today, but tomorrow it becomes the pain of fatigue, illness, and limitation. That's the pain of regret. The same is true in finances. Saving money requires discipline. It means saying no to some pleasures, delaying gratification, resisting impulse. That's uncomfortable, but that discomfort compounds into security, freedom, and opportunities. In contrast, the person who avoids the discipline faces a different kind of pain later: debt, stress, lack of options. Once again, discipline turns pain into progress, while neglect turns comfort into crisis. Even in personal growth, discipline is uncomfortable. Reading, studying, practicing, these demand time and focus when entertainment or distraction would be easier. But the discomfort of study creates the progress of wisdom, skills, and opportunities. Without it, the easy path of neglect leads to stagnation and missed potential. Here's the secret: pain is unavoidable. You either embrace the temporary pain of discipline or you suffer the lasting pain of regret. The choice is yours, but only discipline transforms pain into something valuable. It takes sweat and effort and turns them into confidence and achievement. It turns what feels heavy today into strength tomorrow. When you shift your perspective, discipline no longer feels like punishment. It feels like an investment. You learn to welcome the discomfort because you know it's carrying you somewhere better. The very things that test you today are shaping you for tomorrow. Discipline is the process of converting pain into progress, effort into excellence, and sacrifice into success. Discipline reveals its true power not in what you do once, but in what you do consistently. One workout won't make you fit, one book won't make you wise, one act of saving won't make you wealthy, but when those actions are repeated daily, weekly, monthly, the results compound beyond imagination. Consistency is the multiplier of discipline, and over time it produces results so great they seem almost magical. Think of water dripping on stone. A single drop has no effect, but drip after drip, day after day, that stone is shaped, carved, and transformed. Consistency is the quiet force that achieves what raw effort alone cannot. The same principle applies to your life. Small, disciplined actions may feel insignificant today, but when added together over years, they shape your character, your opportunities, and your destiny. Consider financial growth. Saving a small amount each day may not feel like progress, but compounded over months and years, it creates wealth. Or think of skill development. Practicing a craft for just 30 minutes daily doesn't feel groundbreaking, but after a year, you're far ahead of those who only practice when they feel inspired. Consistency builds mastery. The challenge is that consistency rarely offers immediate rewards. In the early stages, it feels slow, even invisible. That's why so many people quit. They expect instant results, but discipline calls you to keep showing up even when progress seems hidden, because hidden progress is still progress. And eventually, the breakthrough comes. Momentum grows with consistency. Each day you stay disciplined, you strengthen your habits. Each habit strengthens your identity, and soon you don't just do disciplined actions, you become a disciplined person. That shift in identity is where the true compound effect lies. Your future is no longer shaped by chance but by design. The danger of inconsistency is just as powerful, but in the opposite direction. Neglecting discipline one day doesn't seem like much. Skipping a workout, overspending once, avoiding one task, it feels harmless. But repeated over time, these small lapses compound into decline. Just as consistency builds success, inconsistency builds regret. The truth is, time will compound something in your life, either your discipline or your neglect. One leads to strength, freedom, and accomplishment. The other leads to weakness, limitation, and disappointment. The choice is always yours. Discipline makes consistency possible, and consistency makes success inevitable. When you look closely at life, it becomes clear. Goals inspire you, but discipline delivers you. Anyone can set goals, anyone can dream about a better future, but only discipline has the strength to carry you across the gap between where you are and where you want to be. We've seen that goals without discipline remain empty wishes, pretty words without power. We've seen that daily disciplines, though small and often unnoticed, quietly build momentum that cannot be stopped. We've seen that discipline does not take away freedom, it creates it, opening doors and expanding choices. We've seen that discipline transforms pain into progress, turning temporary discomfort into lasting reward, and we've seen that consistency compounds small efforts into extraordinary results, shaping your destiny one decision at a time. The lesson is simple but not easy. Discipline will always ask more of you than comfort does. It will challenge your moods, your excuses, and your desire for quick results, but it will also reward you in ways comfort never can. It will give you strength, freedom, confidence, and the satisfaction of knowing you lived up to your potential. The bridge between goals and accomplishment is not luck, not talent, not even intelligence. It is discipline, and every day, with every choice, you are either stepping onto that bridge or turning away from it. So the real question is, will you pay the price of discipline today, or will you pay the heavier price of regret tomorrow? The bridge is waiting. The only thing left is for you to take the first step and keep walking.